Thank you. Mr. Clark.
Yes, so we already have term limits. They're called elections. The problem is we need to reform the way we conduct them. So I just want to tell you one thing. I looked at the Congressman's bill, and he said, for example, that he wants to declare a holiday for Election Day. Well, he's going to declare it a federal holiday for federal workers, not for everybody. So not everyone will be able to go out. The implication is everyone will be able to vote on that day. But that's not true. Most people, most businesses, yours included, will probably not allow folks to have it as a holiday that day. So the way we improve, there are a number of ways we can improve our elections. Number one is we can have ranked voting, instant runoff voting. I won't have enough time to describe that in the minute I have left, but I can speak with you later about that. That would truly allow third-party members and independents to have a bigger role in elections. The other thing is public financing of elections. Every year, and I'm sure that this year will be no different, it's take the winners of congressional elections. If you look at the amount of money that they spent in order to win, it has grown larger and larger and larger. And any of the engineers in the audience there know that's a positive feedback loop, and it cannot be continued. It's unstable. So if it were up to me, I've said I will not spend any money this time, and I haven't. You see just some cards out there. I've done that so I can truly ask for public financing should I win. Thank you.
Thank you. Congressman, you will get the first shot at this last question. I'm not sure why we saved the last question the longest question, so if I need to repeat it, I'm happy to do it. I can barely keep up with myself, so all right. So it has been stated that the proliferation of safe districts, which almost guarantees either Democratic or Republican control in each district, has effectively eliminated bipartisan cooperation and has contributed to the gridlock in Washington. What are your views on this issue?
I agree with that issue 100%, which is why I introduced the bill that the Open Our Democracy Act bill, the election reform bill that I referred to in the last question. 86% of the districts in Congress are considered safe, meaning only 14% are competitive. What that means is 86% of the members of Congress, if you believe incentives matter, and I actually do believe incentives matter, have an incentive to talk to half the population, right? Because they're only electoral challenges in the primary. And we all know voter turnout in primaries is really low, right? And so you get a small slice of each party voting in the primary. So it incentivizes them to orient themselves towards that slice, right? And so that's a huge structural problem we have in the Congress of the United States of America right now, which is why the 500 people in Washington behave so differently than the 300 million Americans around the country, right? Totally different behavior. They scream and rant and rave and point fingers, and they don't get along, they don't do anything. So we have to change these structural incentives, which is what my bill is designed to do. It gets at two core issues. It does do the holiday, right? All we can do is a federal holiday. I don't think the federal government can order a business to close. That's not the job of the federal government. The federal government can make it a federal holiday, and I think a lot of businesses do follow suit. But what the bill does is it deals with redistricting reform, how these districts get set up, and then it opens up primaries. So Democrats, Republicans, Green Party, Libertarian, whatever they may be, they run in the same primary, everyone can vote in the primary, the top two vote getters go to a runoff. That will encourage people to speak to a broader segment of the American population and change the behavior in Congress. And I'm the lead sponsor of the bill.
Thank you. Mr. Clark.
Yes. Okay, so now I have an opportunity to tell you how we can really change this. Instant runoff voting. Okay, we have 100 people voting. Right now, it's first past and given the Congressman's bill here, that's fine for the primary, but it means first we know third-party members will make it to the general election. So it's of no use. So if we have general elections where we have instant runoff voting, you have 100 people voting, and there's a third-party member. Let's say 46 of them vote Republican, vote for a Democrat, 44 of them vote for the Republican, that's 90, and the other 10 vote for the Libertarian. Okay, so it looks like the Democrat won, 46-44. Even though 56 throw out the Libertarians' first vote, look at any second votes the Libertarian had. Well, the vast majority of those votes are going to go to the Republican. Those 10 votes, I'd say 8 of them go to the Republican. 2 people, by the way, came out only because the Libertarian was running. They wouldn't have voted at all. So the 8 go to the Republican. The Republican gets 52 votes to the Democrats, 46, and therefore the folks who voted have really been able to tell those who are running Congress who they really want, and they get to vote for who they don't want by having instant runoff voting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, interesting note, it's gerrymandering is actually gerrymandering. Everybody calls it gerrymandering, but it's actually gerrymandering. But the congressman's plan, ironically, is an incumbency protection program. That's what that would be. With the most money would always finish with the largest number of votes, and the rest would be split amongst the remaining who would have to compete for media time. I don't support that open primaries at all, because in Maryland right now, the Republican Party has been destroyed. Now, whether you agree with their platform or not, that's understandable. I understand people here have genuine differences. But do you agree that there should at least be a system where the opposition party has a voice? If you don't, if you believe in a monarchy, we have a system where, do you realize we had, out of our 8 congressional representatives, we had 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats just under 20 years ago? We now have 1. We have 1 left on the Eastern Shore. That's unforgivable, folks. I wouldn't support that for the Republican Party, because sometimes, frankly, we have bad ideas too. And you need someone on the other side to call it what it is. You don't have that right now. You have a state run by a supermajority, one-party monopoly that has steamrolled this entire region. This region needs a voice. You don't have it right now. You have been subordinated. You are being ruled, not governed. And I intend to change that.
Thank you. So you gentlemen have done such a great job honoring the time frames. You get an additional 30 seconds to close. So instead of 90 seconds, you get 120 seconds. And we're going to start with Mr. Gluck, then we're going to Mr. Bongino, and then we'll finish up with Congressman Delaney. So Mr. Gluck, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Let me first go back and mention that gerrymandering. You know, we have algorithms that we can run on our smartphones that will redistrict states so that we don't have these problems with absolutely, 86% or whatever the number Congressman mentioned, safe districts. And we can do that if we had, to the extent that federal law can do that. It'd be great to see that required, at least for congressmen and senators. Okay, so the bottom line here today, what will happen if you elect me to represent you? I'll sit with the Progressive Caucus, I'll at least ask to, and I'll vote for and support and introduce bills that Congressman Delaney wouldn't, and vote against some that he would. Okay, and I have an important question for you now. You hold the flask in your hand, and you're going to put in 2 chemicals that you know should react, and they don't. So what's missing? A catalyst, right? If you folks elect me to represent you in Congress, that alone will be the catalyst that causes a great deal of change to happen. First of all, on the night of November 4th, the electronic meeting will herald the fact that you folks have elected the first Green Party member to Congress. So I just want to say, so you'd be joining Switzerland, who in 1979 elected the first Green Party member to the national office. And in 2013, 309 Green Party members were elected to national office and other legislatures. So if I were elected, not only would the media take note, but the other 534 members of Congress would take note immediately, and that would make a great deal of difference. So please, again, vote for me, so we can proudly say that Maryland has voted the first Green Party member to Congress, and do it before some district in California does. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bongino.
Well, thank you again to George and John and the Chamber, everyone here put this together. I really do appreciate the opportunity. It's not often we get the opportunity to, in an open forum, to put out our ideas and let people judge us based on our ideas. You know, there's a person in this room, and he knows who he is, who's a cancer survivor, who has knocked on probably 500 plus doors with me. I've knocked on about 6,000, maybe 7,000 by now, I've lost track. Campaign, probably about 25,000. I've been at your door. If not, I'm coming there soon. And you know what the most common theme is? I'm moving. The most popular theme on people's lawns is a for sale sign, not a Halloween decoration. You have no voice in the state. You know, 100 years ago, you left your home over your dead body. No one touched your home. It was your farm, it was your land. You don't have that anymore. You're being driven out of the most beautiful state in the Union. The Catoctin Mountains, Deep Creek, the Bay. What else you want? 2 great sports teams? Finally, 2 great sports teams. We have everything here, 4 seasons. And the most common theme is people want to leave. And people want to leave because we are run by a one-party supermajority. If you want change, there's only one way to vote. And I'd appreciate your consideration in this election in November. Thank you very much for the time. I do deeply appreciate it.
Thank you, Congressman Delaney.
I also want to join with my other panelists here in thanking everyone for being here today and for carving out the time and for the Chamber and organizing this important discussion for us to have. So when I had the privilege of beginning my service for the 6th District of Maryland just 2 years ago, I promised and swore to the voters that I would do a couple things. The first thing I would do is represent this district and stand up against special interests, stand up against Annapolis, and work in a bipartisan way to get things done. And I've done all those things. I've taken on Annapolis, and if they're not doing what's right for this district, I've worked with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle and been one of the most bipartisan members of Congress to get things done, because that's what we need to do. And I've worked on ideas that can really improve the private economy, not only in Washington County, not only in the 6th District, but in Maryland and across this whole country. And that's what I said I would do, and that's exactly what I've done. I also said I would be honest and transparent about what's going on, and that I would deal with you directly and make sure you understood where I stand on everything. Every year I send out a long note that I write myself. 15 pages it was this past year telling you everything I'm doing. Just in this election alone, we've reached out to 50,000 voters, either at the doors, on the phones. We're talking to voters, we're telling them exactly what we're doing, because that's what I believe the constituents deserve. And it's so important for us to have an honest dialogue about what's really going on in this country and what's going on in the state, which is why I'm trying to change the way Congress is acting. Again, people can tell you what they want. Dan seems to think my election reform bill won't help. Yet every independent person who's looked at it said, and this is against my interests, right? People would say, I'm a Democrat. I put forth an election reform bill that all the experts have said would create more Republican districts in the state of Maryland. That's what I stand for, doing the right thing. And so I'm committed to work against the big challenges this state, this district, this county faces, which is how to create jobs, grow our economy, and make sure this becomes a country and maintains its position as a country of opportunity for all Americans. Thank you.
So Republican candidate Dan Bongino, Democratic incumbent John Delaney, and Green Party candidate George Gluck. Let's give these gentlemen a round of applause. Whatever your affiliation, whatever your support, we certainly thank you for your service and willingness to run for public office. We know it takes a lot of time and energy, and we appreciate it, however this turns out. Thank you for coming out with us. We have a couple events similar here. The next 3 Wednesdays, October 15th, 22nd, 29th, we have some more forums. The 15th is the Washington County Board of Education Candidate Forum. Following week, 22nd, is the Washington County Commissioner Candidate Forum. And lastly, the Washington County Delegation Forum, all here, again, the next 3 successive Wednesdays. And a chamber event, shameless self-promotion, since we are here as a chamber event. October 16th, Business After Hours, Leitersburg Cinema. The Washington County Business Award winner of the Small Business of the Year. Our members only drawing is the highest it's ever been. So if you guys need some more money for your campaigns, and you're a chamber member and you're there, $5,250. You have to be there to win. So it'll be exciting. You have to register by noon on October 16th. And a complete list of events on our website at hagerstown.org. Lastly, I want to thank all of you for coming out. Our goal is to educate you, bring you the candidates and all the different races we have. We want you to be knowledgeable, and we want you to vote. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.